To me, the exciting thing about areas like YouTube and things like that is the fact that, you know, record companies or entertainment companies or content companies now, which is what they want to be called, is that the reason why a lot of people actually download or, you know, or share files or things like that is because the copyright owners actually haven't made those things available for people to consume. So the reason why Napster went completely ballistic when it was going wild is because people were sharing, a large percentage of, were sharing files that they couldn't find available anymore. And the hard thing is that when record companies or content companies sign up the work with, say, somebody like, if, you know, John was releasing some music and the record came out and that was all fine and well, but then within 5 years' time, the CD wasn't produced anymore, but there was still an audience. You know, 10 years goes by, then people are actually now starting to find stuff on eBay or through file sharing services. And I think that's where content companies kind of let themselves down a bit. They have these assets and they actually still don't make them available for the community of fans out there. And that's why I think YouTube, MySpace, etc. is exciting.
If it's an original idea, if it's something that's going to drive the community together, if it's something that's truly authentic, or if it's just something that's absolutely hilarious or touching, then, you know, it always will start there. And then it's a matter of, you know, finding these individuals that can find ways to sort of put it out into multiple different platforms and reach people in the appropriate kind of way and just really sort of turn it into almost a franchise.
Obviously, one of the greatest impacts of recent years in terms of the way that films are made has been the advent of visual technology. I think most of that has been appalling, frankly, as a cinephile, in terms of the quality on the screen. And I can talk a lot about that, but let's be a little bit more positive.
We think as part of mobile that gets more and more important because as people move around more, one of the things that's important through the mobile device is location. And so when you're out around in a location, provide content kind of on the spot, whether it's a movie review or a food review or something like that, is useful to others. And we think that that content then is kind of the basis of the community, which is what, you know, the YouTubes of the world really are. So I think we're still wrestling with it, you know, how do we position it against content that we kind of consider our own that is authoritative and that we've checked and, you know, legally happy with and it's got all the ticks, to then something that someone else has created. And we, you know, probably for a while we have to work out a way to get those two things to coexist together.
I think there's something about the tangibility of print that people still really love, but at the same time, I think what's exciting about Circles we talked about here is the way that the technology makes new ideas possible. Again, it's the idea that is the most important. And I think there's, when you know, almost a level of crap ideas. There's good crap and there's bad crap. There's bad crap that you just can't watch, and there's good crap that you secretly love on YouTube because, my God, it's so outrageous. But I think that what's really interesting is what it's telling you about cinema, about film, about filmmaking, about narrative, about light and movement and character and colour.
But yeah, I've noticed, I kind of like really try to rein in and just be really careful about what I ever kind of commit to print or whatever, because it is there forever. And it can be embarrassing and awkward.
Just become a lot more selective about what kinds of stuff.
If you look at the different skill sets that a band today would have to have compared to 10 years ago. 10 years ago, a band would kind of be a group of mates, they'd get together, they'd hang out, they'd drink beer, they'd write some songs, rehearse a little bit, play a few shows. If they're kind of good, they might make a record, hopefully it'll turn out okay, maybe somebody will put it out. Whereas today, for a new band starting out, it'd be kind of cool to have somebody in the band who could build a website. You have to sit down and think about, well, hang on, what kind of video content will we actually have over the next 12 months to put up on YouTube to help market ourselves? Will they help create a buzz? But the key thing is, which I think all of us here agree with, and once again I'm sure you all do too, is good ideas are actually, they're the goal, and it could be, you know, the Nat playing My Sharona. It's a great pop song executed well, and it'll be around kind of forever. Likewise, there's certain music videos. If you look at the work of Spike Jones, one of his music videos I think was made for $50 on a camcorder, and it actually got high rotation on MTV for a period of time. So I think with all of these kind of things, it gets back to, is the idea good? Is the music good? If it's not, then it won't gravitate towards the top. If it is, I think the exciting thing for all this at the moment is the way that virally things can spread out of control.
Like for me, just because of the age I am, I've got this constant feeling of grace for the time we're living through, because I kind of just remember how many restrictions there were, like just if you know what I mean. But I imagine if you're like 20 and you just grew up on the internet where you just get instant gratification on everything, and you can get whatever the edits sweet on Mackies for a couple of grand or whatever, like. Yeah, you just go with it. That's what the world is like.
It doesn't have to be expensive to generate a large audience. To address your second point in terms of how audiences are consuming media, absolutely, it's totally changed. We're sort of at a really interesting point at the ABC right now where we realize our audience totally wants to be a part of what the experiences that they are seeing. And they want to see content when they want to see it, and they want to see it on devices that are convenient for them. And they want to be in a position to, tag and comment on content that they're seeing, and be able to shoot off stuff to their friends. And they want to have RSS feeds so that they can access content in a way that is interesting to them. So I mean, it's a really, really exciting time, but it's a time where a lot of broadcasters are sort of having to redefine themselves and determine what it means to be a broadcaster.
It's really interesting talking about Lily Allen and all that like what people really connect to with that story, whether it's a total PR job or whether it's real, whatever it is, like the absolute little human story behind it, as opposed to the big technology story. It's like, the little guy came through and sort of like abused the technology and abused the system to and that's kind of what you connect with. Technology just is to service the idea.